Can you imagine a woman who was ignored, humiliated, and rejected by society becoming a key piece in the greatest divine plan in human history? She wore no crown. She had no wealth, and certainly no fame. She was just a prostitute, but her courage saved a nation. Her faith challenged an empire, and her name was written in the lineage of the Messiah himself. This is not just another biblical story. It's a shocking twist, a proof that God sees value, but the world only sees shame. This is the story of Rahab, and what you are about to hear may change the way you see who is truly worthy of heaven. Rahab lived in Jericho, one of the most powerful and impenetrable cities of antiquity. Its walls were legendary, so wide that chariots could ride side by side on them, guarded by trained armies and surrounded by towering walls. Jericho seemed invincible, but behind those walls lay a reality of fear and sin. The people were known for worshiping pagan gods, performing human sacrifices, and living in constant idolatry. And in the middle of it all was Rahab. Her house was built directly into the city wall, standing at the edge between the outside world and the heart of Jericho, a perfect symbol of her existence. Always on the boundary, never fully included nor truly free. She was seen only as an object, a woman used, touched but never respected, known by many, loved by none. But then something unexpected happened. News spread through the city. A strange people were approaching, the Israelites, desert nomads, a group that had left Egypt in a supernatural way. Their enemies fell like dry leaves before them. Powerful kings like Sion and Og had already been defeated, and now their camp was set up on the banks of the Jordan River, ready to cross and conquer Canaan. Jericho would be the first target. The tension was almost tangible. Everyone was afraid, but no one spoke of it aloud. It was in this atmosphere of fear that two men arrived in the city. They didn't look like warriors, nor merchants, but Rahab knew, behind the simple clothes and the watchful gaze, there was a secret. Those two were spies, sent by Joshua, the new leader of Israel. They were looking for a safe place to hide, and by some divine reason, they ended up in Rahab's house. She could have ignored them. She could have handed them over to the royal guard. But something inside her whispered, these men represent something greater, and she decided to risk everything. Little did she know that this would be the defining moment of her life. It didn't take long for the news to spread. Two foreigners had entered the city. Soldiers began knocking on doors, searching house by house, until they arrived at Rahab's home. She opened the door, heard their shouting, and lied. She simply lied. She told them the men had passed through, but already left. And while the soldiers rushed off in the wrong direction, the two spies lay hidden on the roof, concealed among stalks of flax. Rahab had risked her own life. Why? Because she had faith. That night, with her heart racing and her eyes fixed on the sky, she climbed up to the rooftop. The spies were still there, motionless, silent. And then Rahab spoke words that would be forever recorded in the scriptures. I know that the Lord has given this land to you. We have heard of what the Lord did in Egypt, of the sea that was parted, of the kings you defeated. Everyone here is terrified. Your God is God in heaven above and on earth below. Can you grasp the depth of that statement? A Canaanite woman, raised among idols, without access to the laws of Moses, without ever seeing a prophet, declared her faith in the true God with more conviction than many Israelites. She had not seen the sea split, but she believed. She had not walked through the desert, but she trusted. She made a choice, and then she asked for something in return. Promise me by your God that when the city is invaded, you will spare my life and my family. The men looked into her eyes. They saw truth, boldness, faith, and they swore, tie this scarlet cord to your window. When the army comes, your house will be preserved. And so it was done. At dawn, she helped the spies escape through the window, the very same window that would stand as a witness to her salvation. Days passed, and then the unthinkable happened. The Israelites crossed the Jordan. They surrounded Jericho, but not with weapons. They marched once a day for 6 days. On the 7th day, they marched 7 times. And then the trumpet sounded. The people shouted, and the walls fell. Everything crumbled. The houses, the walls, the soldiers, everything, except for one window. A single house on the wall remained standing, and there it was, the scarlet cord. Rahab and her family were spared. They were welcomed into the people of God. The rejected woman was now protected. The prostitute was now part of the promise. But more than that, she went beyond. Rahab married a man named Salmon, and she gave birth to Boaz. Yes, the same Boaz who married Ruth. And from that lineage came Obed, then Jesse, then David. And centuries later, Jesus was born, the Savior, the Redeemer, the Son of God himself, a descendant of a prostitute from Jericho. Do you see what this teaches us? God is not looking for perfection. He is looking for faith. Rahab had neither fame nor reputation, but she had something few possessed, the courage to believe. And because of that, she was counted among the heroes of faith, alongside Abraham, Moses, David, and so many others. Maybe you feel small, unworthy, disqualified. Maybe the world has labeled you, just as they did Rahab. But if you have faith, if you dare to trust, God can use your life in a way you never imagined. He specializes in turning what the world despises into what heaven celebrates. Where society sees shame, God sees opportunity. Where everyone points a finger, he reaches out his hand. Rahab was a woman marked by her past, but God chose her to shape the future. He took her story of pain, scandal, and exclusion and transformed it into redemption, purpose, and an eternal legacy. It doesn't matter who you were. It doesn't matter what others have said about you. God doesn't choose the perfect. He chooses the willing. And if he did this with Rahab, a prostitute from Jericho, imagine what he can do with your life. If today you choose to truly trust him, if this story moved you, if it touched your heart in any way, subscribe to the channel right now. Don't leave without doing so. Here, every video is an opportunity to understand that God still writes stories with those the world has discarded. Turn on the notification bell, leave a like, and share this video with someone who needs to hear. There is still hope, because your faith, even if small, can be the beginning of a complete transformation in your life. Until the next video, may God bless you abundantly.